Recording episode 18 of Rocco on the Rocks. Action. Cue the music. What's up, rock stars? Welcome to another episode of Rocco on the Rocks. Alrighty, on today's menu of Scrump or Dump, we are trying a new canned drink here. We are trying Mom Water. And the pack we got today is the variety pack. It's called the Mom Squad. And all the flavors here, we're going to go through each one. They're all named. It's actually very cute. So we have the strawberry kiwi, which is called Susan. And then we also have the pineapple orange, which is Nancy. And then we have in here the blackberry lime, which is Kathy. And we also have apple melon. Yeah, apple melon, which is Mary. Very cute. Now, this is an interesting canned drink, I would say, because it's a vodka water. So you can add a spritzer to it to give it that. But other than that, it's pretty much just like water, vodka, and flavoring inside these cans. Very excited to try them. I think they'll be good. They also have Dad's Water, which is tequila, and now that I'm excited for. But I got the Mom's Water first to see what we're feeling, you know? And I know a lot of people do add the spritzer to it, like I said, to give it a little extra, because other than that, it's just flat because it's water. So, up first, because I already have this open, we're going to go with Kathy. We are going to go with the blackberry lime. I'm excited. I'm curious to see what this is going to be like. Nice ASMR. Pour it in my cup here. Okay, these are warm, I will say. So put a lot of ice in this cup. Hopefully that chills it down a lot because we're going to need that. But they are 4.5% alcohol, which is decent. It's probably about a beer. And they're 90 calories per can. That's actually not that bad. 0 sugar. Okay, I'm excited. I'm very excited to try this. Let's see what we think. Okay, cheers, rock stars. Scrump or dump. Oh, that's kind of weird. That is weird. I really do feel like I'm just drinking water. There's like actually no flavor to this. I get the hint of the blackberry. I'm not getting a lot of lime. Yeah, no, that's so different. That is very different because it's like just water. It's so flat that I'm like, oh, I'm like so used to the vodka sodas or the tequila sodas in the can. So I'm like, all right, where's my bubbles? But no. Okay, wait. I kind of think these are a Scrump. This is kind of a Scrump. I actually like that. The flavoring's subtle, like I said. I'm really just getting blackberry. I'm not getting that much lime. I think you could totally spruce this up. It's probably a good base for, like I said, adding either another soda or a seltzer of your choice, but I would probably squeeze more lime into this. You could definitely spruce it up and make it better. But I'm going to give it a Scrump. It's very subtle. I don't mind it. I don't hate it. And it's honestly really refreshing. So, okay, a Scrump in my book. I like this. Maybe throughout the episode I'll try the other ones and see. But right now the blackberry lime's a Scrump. I like it. Anyway, so on today's episode, this past Sunday was the 77th annual Tony Awards, and I'm a big Broadway person. Like I've said in my first episode, a goal of mine is to eventually be on Broadway. Well, a dream. I don't know if it's a goal. It's really a dream. I love Broadway. I love everything about the theater. I think it's so fun. I love that it's a live show. I go all the time. I've seen numerous amounts of shows. So on today's episode, I'm going to talk about all the shows I've seen. And fun fact, my old career, I used to be an event planner, and I actually got to go to the Tony Awards. I went to the 75th annual Tonys, and it was actually the Tonys, I believe, right after COVID. So star-studded. It was so much fun. I loved every second of it. So I'm not going to talk about this year's Tonys, but congrats to all the winners. I'm not talking about it because I wasn't there, but I'm just going to talk about my experience and like all the Broadway shows I've seen, because I do love Broadway, and it's really just something that I do a lot with my mom. We always go to shows, and my sister as well. So I'm going to talk about the shows I've seen, and as well my experience at the award show itself, because it was really cool that I got to go. So let's start it off with the list of shows I've seen. So I have them all written down in my notes, and I have seen 22 shows in totality. So my first ever show that I saw was Mary Poppins. Let me tell you, this is one of my favorites. It was actually a Christmas gift to my sister and I that my mom and aunt had got us. It was wonderful. And the way they told us that we were going to see Mary Poppins was they didn't give us the tickets, like, you know, they didn't put them in an envelope or anything and give that as the gift. Instead, they wrapped up sugar, a spoon, and I think it was medicine as well, because one of the songs, A Spoonful of Sugar, helps the medicine go down. So they gave us like clues to figure out like what we were going to do, like what the point of this gift is, like what we were going. So it took us a while. We were young at the time. And then finally we got it, and we guessed that we were going to see Mary Poppins on Broadway. Super, super exciting. I loved it. I actually have the Mary Poppins umbrella. I bought it at the Broadway show, and it's still in my closet somewhere. Again, memorabilia I love. I try to keep some stuff from certain shows. I used to have a lot of the playbills, but you know, as you're decluttering, you get rid of them. But I did bring with me today the playbill from the 75th annual Tony Awards. And this one I had to keep, because who else has a Tony's playbill? You know, only the people who go. And that was me. I was one of them. But yeah, this was really cool. I love this. I'm going to keep this forever, hopefully. And maybe I'll frame it, because it's honestly so cute. This was at Radio City, the show. And then this year, I forget the place that they had it at. I think it was at Lincoln Center this year, if I'm not mistaken. I'll look it back up when we start talking about this. But we'll go through the shows. So I saw Mary Poppins. It was amazing. I absolutely loved it. It was so magical seeing Mary like fly across the stage. You know, she comes down and you can like barely see the wiring. The production was fabulous. I do like their rendition of Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, because it starts off slow. They sign it as they like say the word, which is amazing, and I absolutely loved it. You can never go wrong with the show. I love when people dance to Mary Poppins on Dancing with the Stars for Disney night. That like is always my favorite. If I was ever on the show, which I want to be on Dancing with the Stars so badly for Disney night, I would totally choose a song from Mary Poppins without a doubt, because it's really one of my favorite movies, and it's just wonderful. So another show that I saw was The Lion King, also very good. It's a classic. Wonderful, wonderful. Maybe I should... Lion King is still on Broadway. Mary Poppins is off Broadway. Lion King is on Broadway. Again, so cool. They have everyone like walk through the aisles as they like, you know, get on stage for certain of the songs. And that one's very, very fun. I love that show. We also saw Shrek. Shrek was hilarious. Okay. I didn't see it with Rachel. Oh, who is the girl that's like all over TikTok? Rachel something. I forget. Rachel Zegler? That's it. Rachel Zegler. I didn't see it with Rachel Zegler as Fiona, but I just saw it. It was wonderful. I loved it. Hilarious. I also saw that's off Broadway now. And then I saw Addams Family, which is also off Broadway, but I saw it with Brooke Shields when she was Morticia. Let me tell you, that show was by far probably one of the funniest Broadway shows I've ever seen. It was hilarious. Really, really great. I remember the theater. I forget which one it was in, but the theater was super, super small. And when we were sitting in our seats, our knees were like up against the backs of the chairs in front of us. But regardless, great show. Absolutely loved it. Another show I saw was Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, also off Broadway, but a classic. Really, really love that show. I also love the Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella movie with Brandy and Whitney Houston. That's the best one. There's a bunch of other renditions of the movie. There's older versions, but I don't think the older ones are musicals except for this one. This one was produced by Disney, and it's actually on Disney Plus if you want to watch it. It's wonderful. It is very, very camp. It's so theatrical, like the movie itself. It's amazing. Love it. And the Broadway show was really good. Christine and I actually took a photo with the girl who played Cinderella after the show. I had that posted on my Instagram a while ago. It's definitely off now, but it was on there. Loved it. Great, great show. Beetlejuice, also a really funny one, very good. And then I also saw Aladdin. Can't go wrong with Aladdin. It's wonderful. The way they did A Whole New World and like had the carpet on the stage and everything, and then had all the lights turned to stars. It was really a beautiful scene, and I loved that show. Definitely a top one for me as well. I loved Aladdin. I also love that movie in general, so it was just great. How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. This one I saw with Nick Jonas, and I'm going to say all these shows were great because they really were. It was amazing. I loved it. He did great. He's a Broadway baby. I was so happy I got to see him. Unfortunately, we didn't get a photo with him after the show. We didn't go to the stage door, but just to say I got to see him on stage was really cool because I know he loves Broadway. He actually went to the Tony Awards this year, which I'm kind of sad about because I was not there and I didn't get to see him or meet him. But you know what? In time, I will. I also went to the Joe Bros concert this past year with Carly. That was an amazing concert. So I've seen Nick a couple times. I've gone to pay to see Nick a couple times, and I'm never disappointed. How to Succeed in Business, though, was really, really great. And fun fact, this show, my freshman year of high school, was the spring musical that we were doing. I had tried out for the show, and I got one of the supporting leads, I think. Oh, what did I get? Mr. Gatch? I got the role of whoever sings the song, A Secretary is Not a Toy. And I was so happy because I got my own song, but I unfortunately had to stop the play because I was also doing competitive cheer at the time, so it was really conflicting in terms of scheduling. I couldn't make the practices for play as well as practices for cheer, so unfortunately I stopped, and then I didn't do play the rest of my high school years because I don't know, I just didn't do it, and it was an opportunity missed on my part. I really should have. I kind of regret it. But, maybe one day I will be on stage. You never know. I would love to. Again, it's a dream, but I was honestly really scared to sing in front of a lot of people, which actually is really funny because in one of my acts for our male beauty pageant that my high school has, I sang a cappella to Beyonce in the beginning of the routine before her music played, and I had a whole dance routine. So that was pretty ballsy of me. So I don't know why I waited until my junior year to do that when I could have just been doing play and actually had a good voice and practiced, but it's fine. We can't look back on the past and be upset. We can only go forward. Dear Evan Hansen is another one. Loved Dear Evan Hansen. I didn't see it with Ben Platt, but I think Evan was the actor who's in that movie with Jennifer Lawrence. I'm going to totally forget the name, and let me look it up while we're here. Why not? Oh, No Hard Feelings. Yes, it was definitely him who I saw on Broadway. Okay, wait, who is he? Andrew Barth Feldman? I believe it was him. I was right. I did see Andrew Barth Feldman on Broadway as Dear Evan Hansen, and it was great. I loved it. I also saw Cher. Let me tell you, I was expecting the Cher musical to be over the top, chart stopping, and I was really underwhelmed when I saw it. We saw it, I believe, the second weekend it had come out, or actually, I don't even know if it was open really to the public. It was the pre-runs, so they were still going through some stuff as they were doing it, tech and stuff like that. So we just paid tickets to go see it, and honestly, I was just underwhelmed. I was expecting a grand show. It's Cher, you're expecting a huge theatrical performance. I'm ready for all the glitter and the lights and just the colors everywhere, and I didn't get any of that. Well, you do, but it just wasn't what I had anticipated in terms of a Cher show. So it was a little underwhelming, but the storyline was really, really good. I think they could have made it better. I mean, it told her entire life story, from when she was a little girl to now, basically. And it was a very good storyline. The production of it, I just wasn't impressed. And all the women who did play Cher, in her ages, stages of life at certain ages, was really, really good. I mean, they were amazing. And it told the story of Cher, how she met Sonny and how they went to London and had their show and then came back to America and made it big here. They first made it big in London, then came here and everything else and had the following of everyone. And then it obviously went through the divorce and her marrying whoever else was after that and having her child and stuff like that. So it was a really good storyline for the show. It just wasn't executed well, I felt, on their part. But again, can't knock down Cher. no matter what. It still was amazing. It just wasn't the best. I also saw Chicago. That's a classic. Again, if you haven't seen it, you should. It is very good. I believe Ariana Madix is still in the show. I'm not sure when she's going to be off, but I think she might still be on it. I'm not sure about that one. I also saw this one show called Once. My sister wanted to see it so badly. The soundtrack was like country, folklore, kind of alternative, I guess, and it was horrible. I hated it. I liked that the stage was a bar, so during intermission you could go up to the stage to get a drink. That was kind of cool, but in all honesty, the show was boring. I saw it with my mom, my sister, and my cousin and her friend, and let me tell you, I was like, what am I seeing? I didn't understand it. Like, I did not understand the play at all. Maybe because I was too young. I think Christina liked it. I have no idea. I hated it. I thought it was so boring. I actually have one of the songs still on my iPod. Actually, no, I have the whole soundtrack on my iPod. My iPod Classic. I still have it. I actually listen to it a lot sometimes. That one was horrible. 6. Oh my gosh. I saw 6 recently. Let me tell you, that show is impeccable. It's so good. The music's so catchy. I liked 6 a lot because it's not your traditional Broadway show. It's one stage set the entire time, and the way they use it is just amazing. It's like a rock concert, basically. It's the 6 Wives of Henry VIII, and they all tell their stories about how, they met him, they end up with him, and all this stuff, like divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived. That's the way the 6 wives go. Like, that's how their stories go. And it's so good. It's so entertaining. It's so much fun. I mean, the music alone, probably one of my favorite soundtracks of a Broadway show. And I think it's just because it's so different. It's so catchy. I mean, I listen to all the songs like on repeat still to this day because I just love them. I love them. One of the songs was like a TikTok trending song. And it was the tall, large Henry VIII. That, for a while, was very, very popular on TikTok. 6, if you have not seen it, you must go see it. It's amazing. And I also like too that they engage with the crowd a little bit, like at the end, like they want everyone to get up and dance and clap and all that stuff. Great show. We saw it for Christina's birthday. She's been dying. She wanted to go see it so badly. We took her. It was great. I love that show. I can't say anything else. Like, it really, really was good. If you're someone who likes sets and like classic theater, it might not be for you. But if you're someone who likes a little something different, like this could be the show for you. Like, if you don't really love Broadway, I wouldn't say it is a Broadway show, but it has you're going to a concert more so. So that's what I really liked about it. And the queens are so funny. All the jokes are great. Like, and I can't say anything else about it. You have to go see it if you haven't. This I highly, highly recommend. Honestly, it might be one of my favorite shows. Like, top. It's great. I loved it. I also saw Mr. Saturday Night. This I did get an introduction to it when I went to the Tony Awards because Billy Crystal performed one of the songs from the show at the Tony Awards, and it was very it involved the crowd. Like, he had one side say something, and then the middle say something, and then the other side say something else, and then you put it all together and whatever. He was scatting, I guess you could say. It was a great show. I saw it with my mom and my aunt, and I actually have the playbill from that show signed by Billy Crystal. He signed it. Love him for that, and I love that I have this. I can't say anything else. This show was great. It's off Broadway now, but it was a really good storyline. It was happy. It was sad. It was good. And it was kind of about how he was Mr. Saturday Night, and it had a lot to do about his family, or I don't know if it's about his family, but the storyline was about family, and his daughter never really got to see him because he was always on stage and stuff like that. So she kind of felt neglected her whole life, and then as he's in his old age, he's trying to bond with her again, while also still being relevant in the industry, and he's still torn between family over career kind of, and then obviously at the end he picks family and realizes that he was not really a part of her life for a while. But that was a really good show. I'm very happy that I got to see it, A, at the Tonys, and B, in person and actually see the show, and then have him sign my playbill. Loved that. I've also seen Wicked. We're on number 15 right now. Let me tell you, I cannot wait for the movie to come out. Ariana Grande and Cynthia Kravitz are going to be amazing. I watched the trailer over and over again because I'm so excited. And I like that there's not a lot coming out about it in terms of like clips and stuff that are like spoiling it. And like once it comes out in theater, if people honestly go and record it on their phone, I'm going to be upset because like I don't want any spoilers. I want to sit, I'm going to be off my phone. I'm going to be off the grid. I can't wait to sit in the theater, watch it, and just like be one with the show and the movie. Like it is going to be amazing. I'm so looking forward to it. When I saw it, I didn't see it with the original cast. I don't even know who was in it at the time. I actually saw Wicked twice. I saw it here in New York, and then I saw it in London, actually. When I was a sophomore in high school, I was a part of the NCAA All-American team, and I got to go to London to march in the New Year's Day parade there. And then as one of the things that we did with everyone, or as one of the things on our itinerary that NCAA took all of, the cheerleaders to, was to go see Wicked in London. It was just as good there as it is in the States. Like nothing changes. The storyline's great. Honestly, when I first saw it, I was like kind of scared because the beginning's a little dark. Like as a young kid, you're like not really understanding what's going on because like the mom basically gives birth to Alphaba, and it's like very, very weird. It's very dark because when she gives birth, they're all like, oh my God, she's green. And like the music's loud and it's scary. And, there's just a spotlight on this green baby and you're all just like, what's going on? Like, and for a child to see that, like, and have people on stage like freak out about it, it is a little like jarring. So I think when I was younger and I saw it, I was kind of like, but then as the play went on, like obviously I fell in love with the music, like everything, it was great. And then when I saw it in London and I watched that scene from like when I watched the show from start to end, I understood it more and appreciated it more. And it was a wonderful show. If you haven't seen Wicked yet either, you should, because it's a classic and the movie's coming out. I highly recommend seeing the show before the movie, not to compare, but just so you know what you're getting yourself into. And it's amazing. Like love, love, love. A Broadway classic. Really, really amazing. Like one of the best. Loved. Number 16, Phantom of the Opera. This show, I actually didn't see it on Broadway first. I watched the movie first and I was scared shitless. Okay, that movie scared me. Only because it's so dark. I mean, as a kid, like, you don't understand. And it's all in opera. And, like, opera music can sound scary because of the instruments and everything. And, like, everyone hitting all these notes and stuff like that. So it was very eerie to watch as the movie. But then seeing it live, I mean, once I understood the story, it was an amazing play. The stage, the sets were so cool. This is off Broadway, and I believe at the time it was one of the longest running Broadway shows, but now it's off Broadway, which is kind of sad because it's very, very good, and it was a classic. And you don't really get those shows anymore of that classic opera unless you obviously go to the opera to see that. So I'm happy that I was able to see this on Broadway. I loved it. It was great. Sad that they don't have it anymore. And the way they did the chandelier was honestly very, very cool. Like it coming down and it going back up, like the way they start it, like very cool. It's a very, very good show. 17, Waitress. Sarah Bareilles. This, every show I've seen, I've liked. Like, I really have no qualms with them except for Cher and Book of Mormon. I hated Book of Mormon. It was funny, but like some of the jokes were just like a little too raunchy, so that was not my favorite. But Waitress was hilarious. Such a good show. Soundtrack, phenomenal. Love, love, love. Have no other words to say. I wish I saw Beautiful, the musical, but my mom didn't take me to go see it. The Carole King show. She went with my sister instead. And it's funny. My mom used to always be like, oh, you can't go see a show without me. You can't go see a show without me. What did she do? Oh, she took my sister. She took my sister and the two of them went without me. So I missed out on a show. And till this day, she's like, oh, I wish I took you to see it. Yeah, well, opportunity missed and it's off Broadway and I can't see it now. So whatever. We're looking past that. But I got to see Waitress and that was hilarious. Like that was a very, very good show. Loved that one too. What else we got on here? Book of Mormon, I said. Oh, Matilda. This is number 19. amazing. Matilda was such a good show. I saw it with my mom, my aunt, and my cousin, I believe. So good. Or maybe it was just my mom and my aunt. I don't remember. But it was great. Obviously, like, you know, you always start young in this profession and you, like, do all these plays and stuff like that. And, you know, eventually get to the big stage once you're older and you play all these other roles. But it was cool to see these kids who are so talented, like, be able to be on stage and just do their thing. And it was a great show. The production was awesome. The girl who played Matilda, her voice was great, and she was the understudy, and she killed it. I love when I see an understudy and they do great, because it's like, yeah, like you did it, like you made it. And a great show, honestly, more than I was expecting it to be. I also recently saw Some Like It Hot, also a good show. I didn't see the movie before going, but I saw the play first, and it was hilarious. That I was in stitches for half of it. I had no idea that Marilyn Monroe was in this movie anyway originally, and then seeing it on the stage, it was great. It was so funny. The music was good. I liked the storyline. The set was great. I believe it's off Broadway now, but it was a very, very good show to see. So I'm very happy I got that experience to go. And then number 21, I saw Mamma Mia. I actually took my sister to see this in London. I only saw it in London. I never saw it in New York. My sister saw it in New York. And my mom took her for her birthday, but I was not invited to go to that. I was younger. I think it was just like my mom and my aunts who took Christina, a little girls trip. And it's mine and my sister's favorite movie together. Like, the soundtrack is so good. We love ABBA. So once I saw that it was playing in London, I obviously had to go and take Christina to go see it, because we've watched the movie so many times together. I've never seen it on stage, so I couldn't wait to go. It was amazing. The set wasn't as big, Christina told me, as it was in New York. It was a lot smaller. It was still great. Like, I loved it. Donna was amazing. Sophie was amazing. I'm so happy I got to see that show. And I'm honestly happy I saw it in London, because kind of cooler. But in London, it's interesting. They don't hand out playbills. You have to pay for them. So I thought that was weird, because obviously when you come to New York, they hand you the playbill. Like, the usher gives it to you when you're going to your seats and everything. But then you go to London and it's like, no, £2, £5. I actually don't even know how much it was. But I was like, oh, I guess I'm not paying for this one. I love London's Broadway, because I don't know, the stages are like all around. Like, it's not all like on, like, they're not really close knit, I guess you could say. They're kind of sporadic where all different shows are. So it was cool, the theater of that one, because I only have ever been to the Wicked Theater, and that one's huge with all the sets and the props that they have on display and stuff like that. So this one was very small, very intimate. I loved it. And the 22nd show that I saw was Funny Girl on Broadway with Lea Michele. This show is my favorite show. I've watched the movie numerous amounts of time. I love the character of Fanny Bryce. I just like the storyline of her wanting to be, you know, an actress and famous and being a singer and all that stuff. And she tries so hard, and she never gives up, because she's like, this is what I want. This is what I know I want. And then she falls in love on the way. And unfortunately, I don't know if I want to spoil it. Whatever, I'm going to spoil it. She falls in love as she's, like, obviously achieving her dream. She's a huge success. And her husband at the time, Nicky Arnstein, he says to her, like, you are going to be a star. And he kind of helps her be a star, because he was a gambler, so he was able to kind of negotiate one of her first shows. The owner of the theater, I guess we could say, kind of negotiated him to pay her more, because she's going to be a huge star. And it worked, because he was a gambler, so he knew his way of talking and everything. And from there, you know, it just escalated, and she ended up being a Ziegfeld girl and everything, and only was solely a Ziegfeld girl after that. Like, all the shows were based off of her. She was the star, and she was a comic on the stage, and everyone loved her. And then obviously as the show goes on, Nick's gambling problem becomes worse and worse, and she ends up making more money than him. And it's a very old storyline. So it's because he feels that, you know, she has more money and, you know, has more of a success than he does, especially because his is in gambling and he loses all their money. It's kind of a threat to him and he's not like the man of the house. So he leaves and he ends up going to prison and everything and all this stuff. And she still continues to, she chooses the stage, like, because that's where she belongs, and she knows that, and that's where her success is. She loves the stage. And I just love the storyline of it because it is really beautiful, and it's just a very almost empowering show at the same time, because she loved him so much. She would have done anything for him, but at the end of the day, you know, it just wasn't meant to be. It's my favorite, hands down. And getting to see it with Lea Michele tops the charts. That, I got to see life imitate art, because if you watched her in Glee, her entire Rachel Berry, that character is based off of Fanny Bryce. And even throughout the show, she sings songs from Funny Girl and everything like that. So her goal throughout the show is to play Fanny Bryce, and then eventually in real life she actually plays it, which is crazy that show, that it was able to happen, that was a prediction or anything like written in stone and then like came true, manifested. Honestly, I actually cried during Don't Rain on My Parade, because watching her sing it live was an outer body experience. It was amazing. I loved every second of it. Best show. And fun fact, I got to see her prior to her being Fanny Bryce at the Tony Awards when I was there. Oh my gosh, she's just as beautiful in person. I love her. I didn't go up to her and talk to her. I just got to see her and like stand next to her, and I didn't really say anything because, you know, I was playing it cool. We're like all there for the same reason. We're all in the same industry, you know, all actors, all have talent. And I didn't say anything, but I really wanted to, and it was crazy just being next to her. I was speechless. Okay. So now for my experience at the Tonys. This was, and to this day, probably one of like the highlights in my career. I've always said from the start, like I would love to be a host. I would love to be on Broadway. Like, I do like the entertainment industry. It's so fun to me. You know, all the good things about it minus all the bad, because there is a lot that comes along with it. And I like to always just look on the positive things. Like, that's just how I am. So for a very, very, very long time, this is like an industry I've really admired in terms of just talent and stuff like that. So being able to go to the award show, I was ecstatic. Like, one of my dreams come true. Like, I've always wanted to go, and the fact that I was able to go was insane. So the 75th annual Tony Awards was held at Radio City. It was so cool because I've never been to an award show either. So it was kind of cool to see how like the production went. They actually had a pre-Tony show, which was hosted by Julianne Hough and Darren Criss. So I got to watch them perform a lot. And I had pretty good seats. Like, again, I was an event planner at the time. So the company I was with was actually doing the table arrangements and the linens and like all the decor for the after party, which was held at the Plaza. And prior to the 75th annual show, I believe it was always held at the Plaza. This year and the year before, I don't think it was held there. I think it stayed at Lincoln Center. If it was even there this year, I don't remember. Or, yeah, I think it was at Lincoln Center this year, and then it was somewhere else last year. I don't know. But it was like the crazy experience of my life. So I'll just like take you through my day. I love it. I relive it in my head all the time. So I got my tux from Malzone's. If you know, you know. Great spot to get a tuxedo if you're looking for one. Any of the kids who need prom, if you are having a wedding or just have an event that you need a tux, go to Malzone's. He's amazing, and he has great prices for his tuxedos, and they are beautiful. We actually wore them as well for my sister's wedding because they are just fabulous. Great quality. Love Malzone's. Anyway, I got dressed. My dad was at work. He was at the restaurant. My mom was at one of my cousin's birthday parties, I think, if I recall that correctly. But I just know, like, no one was home to take me to the train to go to the award show. Because I think my mom was going to drive me originally. And I was like, no. Like, you have a party, no worries. Like, I'll take the train. I'll take public transit. You know, a celebrity getting on public transit. Like, no worries. I'm a regular person. I think I drove myself. No, I drove myself. Yeah. I got dressed, got in my car, drove myself to the train station, sat on the train from my town to Hoboken, and I took the path to 33rd Street and then walked from 33rd all the way to Radio City. And let me tell you, everyone's eyes were on me as I was in this tuxedo, on the train, on the path, walking the streets of the city, being like, oh my God, where is this man going? He looks so good. Where's this handsome stud going? I'm going to the Tonys. I'm going to the Tonys. Like, that's where you'll see me. You'll see me on the red carpet. I loved it. All eyes were on me that day. It was great. So once I got to Radio City, I was like, how do I get in here? Because it was blocked off and I had no idea where I was going. So I was like, this is interesting. So I had to talk to all the police officers to be like, hi, how am I supposed to get to the award show? I had to show them my ticket, everything. Actually, do I have the ticket still? No, I do. Oh my God, I have the ticket. I sat aisle F, row ZZ, seat 512. Oh my gosh, orchestra. Yes. Oh my God, I can't believe that. I'm so happy I have that. Anyway, I showed them my ticket. I asked how I get to the, inside the award show. They directed me, and I had brought an umbrella at the time because it was supposed to rain that day. And I met like someone on the street because she was like, oh, like, where are you going? Like, are you going over there? Like, you look dressed so nice. I'm like, yes, I'm actually supposed to be at the Tonys. Like, it's the Tony Awards, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh my God, that's amazing. That's so cool. And I had the umbrella and I just didn't want to carry it anymore. And I was like, do you happen to want an umbrella? And she was like, I'm like, just in case it rains later, like, you could totally have it. Like, I'm not going to need it. I'm already where I need to be. So it's yours if you want it. And she was like, yeah, like, I'll take it. Like, you sure you don't need it? And I'm like, oh no, nothing can rain on my parade today. So obviously I was so happy because I got to use a line from Funny Girl. I got to use the song, and like, to someone, she cracked up because she thought it was so funny. And I was like, thank you so much. This is great. So when I got to the entrance of where I needed to be, it was like actually the entrance of the carpet, but there was two lines. It was like it was one line for the carpet specifically, and then the other one to just go straight to Radio City, and then like you can go in the doors. But I obviously really wanted to get on the carpet, so I called my coworker Nick at the time to be like, where are you? Because it was him and I going to the award show, and then we were meeting up with everyone at the after party. And I was like, Nick, where are you? And he was like, I'm down the street. Why? I'm like, I like need you to act like my publicist right now and basically like get me on the carpet. Like, I was watching all these people get on. They're like, are you with your publicist? Do you have the blah, 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 blah? Like, okay, like, you stand here, you're going to go. Like, this is who you're going to do for press, but all this crap. I was like, oh my God, I can get on the carpet. I could totally get on the carpet. Then once we met up, I was like kind of doing a little more recon and saw that everyone else had like a red carpet pass, and that was something we were lacking. So I was like, maybe I can't get on the carpet. So I totally could have snuck on. I totally could have, but I didn't sneak on. I could have got a Getty image, and I didn't. An opportunity missed, but I still got an image regardless. It's on my Instagram. You can go see it. It's a good one. It's me in front of the floral wall at the Tony Awards after party show at the plaza that my company made. It's amazing. So whatever. Didn't get on it. Nick and I just walked to the front of Radio City to like kind of see everyone walk off the carpet. And while we were waiting, we ended up seeing Julianne Hough. She was so nice. That was so cool. Jessica Chastain, Andrew Garfield, Vanessa Hudgens, like a million other people. The list is endless. Finally, we go into the award show. We sit down at our seats. We make friends with the people next to us. We kind of were like, oh, how are you guys here? Just in case, networking, trying to see who's around. But they were there because the woman told us that her husband got her and her son tickets from a client, and that's why they were there. But we became best friends. I actually took a selfie with the wife, this kid's mom, and I don't have it, but she does, and I don't remember their names, and I wish I did, but they were nice, and they were so fun, so it was cool to sit next to them. But we got to the award show. I actually saw a snippet of 6 while I was there, so I watched that performance. MJ was new at the time, so I saw a scene from Michael Jackson also play. Like I said, Billy Crystal. It was just really, really cool. Oh, I got to see Bernadette Peters perform. That was really cool. She's a Broadway legend as well, so that was just really, really cool. I loved every second of the award show. Amazing. Like, words do not describe how awesome this night was. Finally, it comes to the time that we need to go to the plaza, the show ends, and now everyone's going over to the plaza for the after party. And Nick and I actually walked to the plaza from Radio City because it wasn't that terrible of a walk. Some people got on like the bus or whatever. We walked the streets of New York, and it was great. We had a grand old time chit-chatting while we were going over there. We were walking with other people from the show as well, heading over there. And so we finally get to the plaza and see all our work come to life, all our hard work. They had an amazing array of food. Like, everything I ate was a Scrump. I met up with my best friend Lex. She was also there. We sat down, ate with them, ate with her and her fam. Then we went upstairs. There was multiple rooms that were set up, like, with different vibes. There was a DJ in one section, in one room, and then where we ended up, which was like the main ballroom, I guess, was a live band. And we took pictures at our floor wall prior to, which this experience was also great because there was someone who was there taking your photo, like, off your phone. She was like, "Oh, give me your phone. I'll take your photo." Like, thank you. Someone who was getting all the angles. It was great. People were cheering me on as I stood in front of the step and repeat and posed. It was wonderful. I love those photos. I cherish them deeply. This was like the best night of my life. I can't get over the excitement I had the entire time. Then we moved over to the dance floor, and Vanessa Hudgens was with Andrew Garfield throughout the night, and she was busting a move. Let me tell you, she was having a grand old time on the dance floor, and I wanted to go up and dance with her so badly, and I held myself back. And honestly, it was because I was sober. Like, if I had a drink in me, like, I would have been on that dance floor, no questions asked. Like, I would have grabbed her hand, spun her around, everything, whole 9 yards, and we would have had a ball. We would have been besties. Like, I probably would have went to the other after party she ended up going to with him, with Andrew. Oh, it would have been amazing. I probably would have got to spoke to Andrew Garfield as well, but I didn't talk to anyone. I was so scared. I was so nervous. Everyone's energies, like, they always say when you're around famous people, like, the energy in the room is, like, insane. It is. Like, there is nothing like it, like, being in the presence of people like that. Like, you know, huge stakeholders and producers and stuff like that. Like, I was like, oh my God, do I belong here? I mean, I felt like I belong, you know, being one in the industry, as I like to tell myself. But it was crazy. I couldn't speak because I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I was starstruck everywhere I turned. It was just someone new, and I was like, oh my God, I don't even know what to do. So unfortunately, we didn't dance. Really, really big bummer. But the reason why I didn't drink was because I was starting a new job literally the next day. I said the Tonys were on Sunday. I had to be in Hartford, Connecticut to start my new job at the time, like, early in the morning. We were starting at 8 a.m., but I will say I was not the most chipper person on my first day because I got like 0 hours of sleep. The after party went until 2. I got home at 2:30. My parents picked me up. I went to bed for an hour. I woke up at 3:30, got in my car at 4, and I drove to Hartford, Connecticut, and had to be ready by 8 to go to day 1 of orientation for the job I was starting. And let me tell you, I was not in a good mood because I was just so drained, and I was just reliving the night over and over and over and over again in my head. And actually, it didn't add to the fact that the photographer doing our headshots that day called me fat. So I was pretty not well. I was pretty pissed that day. But whatever. That was a new day. It wasn't the best day, but the night before was the best day. I loved it. No, I'm honestly happy I was there, like, sober the most time, because let me tell you, when I drank, like, I have a good time. But I was able to remember, like, every detail, every second. Again, absolutely wonderful. Just really, really honored that I got that experience because it was just the best. And I wouldn't change it for the world. And I'm thankful that I was able to go. So, yeah. That was my time at the Tonys. I hope you enjoyed my little story there and all the shows that I've gone to. Like I said, I love Broadway. I think it's so fun. They put me in a better mood. Every time someone asks me, like, oh, what kind of music do you listen to? Honestly, it's like, I always say it's a range, but realistically, it's like Beyonce, Taylor Swift, and show tunes. When I see a show and they do the final bow, for some reason, I kind of get choked up because, like, I feel the energy of like a job well done. Like the show was just really, really good and everything went flawlessly. And I like hold tears back because I just like want to be on that stage sometimes. Well, all the time. And it just makes me really happy to see. So this was a huge honor for me. I'm happy I got to go. I will cherish that memory and that night forever and ever. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Fun fact, I'm a Broadway fan, so I love a show. If anyone wants to go see a show, let me know. We can totally go. I love going, as I said. And I'll take anyone. If you've never been, call me up. Call me up, we'll go, and we'll have a ball. And we'll just have the best time. That's our show today. I hope you guys enjoyed my fun little story and enjoyed hearing about all the shows I've seen. Again, thankful I got to go see all these shows and that my mom introduced Broadway to me because honestly, if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't know about any of this stuff or go to see the shows. So I'm always thankful that my mom takes me and my sister because it's something I cherish doing with her as well because it's like our little thing. So I love it. And I'm very happy that she's introduced me to Broadway. So thank you, Mom. We're going to finish it off with some shout outs. Oh, you know what? Thank you, Mom. And we're drinking Mom's water. That's perfect. I'm just putting that together. That is a perfect little segue here. Little connection. I love that. Aw. Yeah. You know what? This episode is dedicated to my mom. Here you go. Thanks for giving me all the opportunities to go see shows and, leading it to me going to the Tonys. So that was great. So shout out to you, Mom. And also shout out to the rest of my family. Obviously, love you guys. And shout out to my brothers, as always, and the Poos, Kaylin and Mackenzie, my creative directors. I love you all so very much. And that's it. Thank you, rock stars, for always tuning into our episodes. I know they haven't been weekly. I'm so sorry. I've been busy as I've put out my episode prior to this one. I'm sorry. I'm getting back into the swing of things. I promise. Regardless, episodes are coming out. They might not be consistent, but they're coming out. Continue to follow the Instagram at rocco.ontherocks. I'll have all the updates on there as to when episodes will be dropping, so pay close attention to that and you'll see it. And don't forget to follow this on YouTube at Rocco on the Rocks. Like and subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up. And that's it. That's our show. Remember, rock stars, always be your best self. Do not forget to smile. Life's what you make it, so let's make it rock. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. I will see you all hopefully next week. That's it. Bye.